just a great basketball game. And, we knew it was going to be tough, coming in here. We've been on the road for feels like a week now. And, obviously we had a big gritty win on Saturday. And, we had to follow it up with a game that, people probably thought we were overlooking. And there's no way we were overlooking this game. I have way too much respect for Scott and for Baylor. We knew it was going to be tough, and I know how much talent they have. They just, have had a tough year, but you could see when they put it together how good they really are. And, man, they seem like they had an answer for everything today, but I'm just super proud of our guys for hanging in there. And that was just a hang with it game. Hang with it. And it took incredible toughness and fortitude from our guys. And, I don't know what narrative people have about our program, but if it doesn't start with toughness, they're not doing their homework. So really proud of the guys, and just thought there was a bunch of great individual efforts that we can get into, here in a few minutes.
Questions for Coach? We'll get a microphone to you.
Well, it looked like in the first half that was kind of that game. You're talking about, like, guys maybe not struggling in a lot of ways, but second half got everything going. What was the difference? Kind of, it seemed like you had a little bit of everything.
I don't know if we got our defense going, so it's not quite so we got everything going in the second half. But you're right.
Rebounding.
But you're right. But I think these seasons are long, and these games are tough, and they can be emotional, and so sometimes, when you get punched like that and you're on the road, it's easy to say, hey, today's not our day. And, our guys just don't have that kind of character. And, the toughness, you get from a senior leader like Bradley, the toughness you get from a freshman guard, like Burries, was incredibly special. I mean, I thought those two guys were awesome today. And then I thought Yvonne, the game might not have came really easy to him today, but he made some really key plays down the stretch with offensive rebounds and hustle. And that was inspiring to see.
You mentioned just maybe the level of basketball that was played today, 35 scouts in attendance watching this game specifically. Yeah. What did you see out there of just those big names going at it, both for Baylor?
Well, I mean, that's just another day in the Big 12. I'm not a guy that counts how many scouts there, and it doesn't, make it a more important game or not. Sure those scouts like good basketball, and I thought, there was a lot of good players on the court today that are going to probably play at their level in the near future. So hopefully those guys represented themselves well.
Coach, you kind of mentioned another day in the Big 12. How difficult is this league? I mean, you look at the stretch that you're kind of ending here, and it's no joke. And just how hard is it?
Yeah, we're in the thick of it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think all you got to do is look at Baylor's record in conference, and that's all you need to know. If you watch them play today and you see their record in conference, that's all you need to say about the Big 12. That's how hard it is on a day in and day out basis, and they got a great coach, and it just shows, that it's a thin line between, having a successful season and not having a successful season. And none of us coaches should ever take it for granted, because Scott's one of the best in the business, and it's just they're having a tough go right now. But, to me, that looks like that team that's kind of building for the Big 12 tournament that could, cause some damage, once they get into a knockout tournament scenario.
Coach, 13 offensive rebounds for you guys, including some big ones down the stretch. Just how big was that for you guys?
Well, it's huge. I mean, it's the best insurance policy you can have on offense. For one, let's take care of the ball. But two, offensive rebounding, it goes a long way to helping you with your efficiency. We really challenged our guys at halftime. We were behind on the glass, and we were behind in the turnover game. And, we need to be a little more committed in those two areas to see if we could, get on the uptick. And our guys did a great job coming out the second half and kind of, setting for the standard for how we wanted to play in the second half. I think by that first media timeout, I think we'd kind of already cut into the lead or tied the game. So, and then from there, it was literally felt like a one possession game for 15 minutes.
Tommy, what is Braden all the way back from whatever he was dealing with, and what happened the last couple of days been like for him, and then Deli having to rehab that ankle?
Yeah, I mean, listen, our training staff, Doc Saker, J-Rock in rounds did an incredible job with our guys. And, Deli, he's a stud. He told me before the game he felt 100%. I don't think he looked 100%, but for him to say that shows his competitive character. And you see him tweaking that ankle out there and hanging with it. We just don't have a lot of options right now. We just got to get through it. And our medical staff's doing a great job, making our guys available. And I think we hopefully have some reinforcements coming soon, which they'll be welcomed. Yeah, I mean, I just think the toughness that our guys are showing physically right now of dealing with some, everyone's banged up. So I'm not saying we're more hurt than anybody else, but you also have to deal with it, and you have to, you have to fight to get wins in these games, and our guys are doing a great job fighting for the program.
Well, just following up, you mentioned reinforcements, but I assume maybe one of them is Koa. Is that a sign that he's pretty close? That he was. That
would be a great reinforcement. I think I haven't got nothing confirmed, but I think we're hopefully nearing the point where he'll be able to play soon.
Anything else for Coach? Bruce, go ahead.
Let's turn it into a Bruce and Tommy
Yeah.
one-on-one.
Well, I don't know how many you want me to fire away at you here, but
Not
but
many.
I was just wondering about what is your trajectory now, having these kind of tough couple of days, and then this huge homestand coming up, and the last homestand for seniors.
I mean,
et cetera.
we have to shower up, get on that plane, and we have to have our best kind of recovery, re-energizing day of the year tomorrow. And kind of build back, and it's been a tough stretch the last couple of weeks, and obviously we have an incredibly tough weekend coming at home, but we welcome that, and we're excited for the opportunity. I know our fans are going to be excited to welcome the boys back to town, and I'm sure Saturday will be a pretty good environment, and I'm sure Monday will as well.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.